Report Bazza with...
This is Bazza.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon?
Yeah, good afternoon. Afternoon, everybody, or morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome today. As you saw by the thumbnail, we're going to talk a little bit about the projects on the house, or the home vlog. We've had a good weekend. We haven't really done a lot this weekend, because have we?
No.
I've been full of a cold.
You've not been so well.
So we chilled, haven't we?
Yeah.
And yesterday we met up with briefly with Jeff Desardry. Put a link in below to his channel, put a little pitch up there we had with Jeff. And yeah, go check him out. He's the second funniest guy on YouTube.
Apart from you?
Not me, but he's definitely the second funniest guy on YouTube. Not the funniest, don't get him built up. He does a lot of live streaming from Disney. And then, was it same day? And then, same day,
Yes,
it was same day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
same day
we
went out for lunch with Andy and Bonnie at Steakhouse 21. So thanks for coming out with us. We enjoyed that. What?
71.
Did you say 21?
You said
I'm thinking Forever 21 where I buy my clothes from. Is that right?
No.
No, okay. So yeah, Steakhouse 71. So thanks for joining us. And then we went out to meet with, we went to Hollywood Studios, didn't we?
We did. We got in the car and drove to Hollywood Studios because it was after 2 p.m. So
oh yes.
we can go in.
Yep.
And we met up with some friends, Alma and Aaron.
Yes.
And had a nice
Had a drink with them.
Afternoon,
in that, what's that place called? It was really nice.
It's the
Baseline
Tap House.
Yeah, it was nice, Baseline. We had a drink with them. So thanks for that. And then yesterday we had an afternoon with the Out on a Limb and the family, didn't we?
We did.
Put a picture up there as well. So thanks for hanging out with us, Lisa and family. It was a nice, relaxing weekend. Didn't do any filming. It was all social fun times.
And you missed somebody. We said hello to somebody else as well.
Who was that?
Lee Marshall.
Oh yes, Liam, sorry, yes.
Lee and Rachel.
And Miller.
And Miller.
Little Miller. Hi Miller, if you're watching. Hello. yes, sorry about that. Yeah, it's just been a busy weekend, hasn't it? With lots going on. So yes, and one thing that came up, the last 2 days, time after time, they were saying, so the house is finished now. So you're all finished.
All finished.
All finished, all finished. And we ended up saying the same phrase. Well, we finished phase 1.
Yeah.
And I think we alluded to this in a prior vlog about there was more work to do on the house. So to here we are going to explain to you what phase 2 is currently. It may just slightly.
Currently, it might change.
It might tweak slightly, but we'll tell you what we know now about phase 2. And there, just as spoilers, there will be a phase 3 and there'll probably be a phase 4 because we want to break it into smaller chunks that aren't quite as expensive. If you haven't been tuned into the vlog, phase 1 was basically down here where we replaced all the flooring, repainted, I replaced all the kitchen cabinets, all the tile. It was the biggest phase. I repainted everywhere down here.
Hopefully most expensive.
Hopefully most expensive.
But you never know.
Yeah, because we were out of the house for like 2 or 3 months. One thing we've noticed already though, you know, we thought this was slow doing this. Just talking about this phase 2, we've been getting the same contractors we've been getting quotes from, and where it was like turning it around in 2 days here, it's been like 6 weeks and we haven't got a quote back yet because everybody seems to be even busier than they were in January. So there, you know, when we get this done, I don't know, but I think we've got another year yet of home renovation projects. Yeah. But before we get into the projects, let's get changed into our scruff and get outside because we've got a few things to do here at the house before it gets too hot outside. So let's go get changed. So here we are outside. I'm wearing my cheap, crappy clothes that I don't mind getting messed up and hiding the fact I haven't washed my hair yet. So yeah, we're going to tackle the front garden. It's very early, before 8 o'clock. We want to get out here before it gets too hot during the day. So if you remember the work we did on the front garden originally, and this was a year ago before we did all the moving in, we put in this kind of rocks and the mulch. That's all got washed away. Rocks are a bit of a mess. Maxine needs to get some new plants on there as well. So what we've done this week is fill the car up, Red 5, with mulch from Walmart, and then we also got some more rocks to go down there. And I've also got something else I must do back in the other home vlog about those stains on the floor. I got some I did get some acid to try and remove that off, so we'll do that as well while we're doing this. So let's get on with getting this mulch out, getting the rocks done, and then I'll have a go with that. I gotta wash the car, and then yeah, let's get all that done before it gets way too hot this morning.
There's a feeling in my soul, can't defeat it. I lose control on your marks. Get set, are you ready?
Okay, well, we're done with this phase. Replaced the mulch that had washed away. We need some more clips for this edging that we put down, but we forgot to buy some. And then this plant here that we put last year, every time it rained it fell, or blew, it fell over. So Maxine's got a new one. We've weighted it down and we've got some more stones to kind of put around it to jam it in, so we don't have to pick it up every time we come out the door when there's been a storm. So yeah, we got there. Max did the weeding last weekend, getting ready, but in these temperatures you really want to be out here before 9-10 o'clock because it's like 100 degrees during the day. So hence the early morning start. So that's looking good. We'll go and try the acid stuff next. But yeah, you know, it's been months since we finished phase 1 of the renovations and we're still finding stuff that's missing. Don't know if we told you the story, but we did have like a dolly or a trolley that we used when we were moving Chloe in and out of college, and that disappeared when all the contractors were here now. Luckily our main contractor was very nice and he bought us a replacement that was far better than the one we had before and far bigger than the one we had before. But guess what we found today was missing? The rake. We keep all our tools here in the corner of the garage because it's the only place, you know, everything's at that one place, and we came to put that mulch out and we came to rake it, and guess what? The rake has been stolen as well. So you've got to watch these contractors. You need to really double check when they finish doing the job and check every little piece. So who would think of going and checking if there's a rake there? You know, you just don't, do you? So let me go and get this acid stuff out and see how we can go from there. So based on all your comments before, I got this. It's called, turn it around. So based on your comments before, I got this graffiti remover. Safely removes aerosol spray, paints, varnishes, lacquers and more. It says it's like an acid one. I'm just going to check on here. Removed most of it. I'm seeing if I've got to wear masks and gloves, probably do, but I'm just checking. Contains benzene, alcohol and formic acid. Do not transfer to unusable containers. May cause skin irritation on contact, so gloves are going on. So yes, let's see if this makes a difference. So I'm suitably PPE'd up and I've got the thing here. It says you spray it on and you leave it for half an hour to an hour. So I'm going to try a bit out the front of the house in case it stains the tiles. You can see down here all the paint that's still all over the floor. So let's pick a couple of bits like this. It's a spray on liberally. Let's leave that for half an hour and then try and see if it comes off before we tackle like by the door where it might stain the bricks. The other thing I did get with it, which you advised, was a wire brush to give it a bit of scrubbing. I don't know if it says you use a wire brush on here or not, but it says you yeah, on porous surfaces which are concrete, use a stiff brush or wire brush to loosen the aggregate graffiti marks. So yes, good job I did get a wire brush. I bought it was a kit on Amazon. So we'll come back later on in the day and see if that has made a difference. Now later in the vlog we'll talk about phase 2 and what we decided we're going to do for phase 2 of the renovations. When we were looking at different options for phase 2, we were getting contractors in to look at different parts of the house, and two things became clear around, remember if we go back to the flooding and the cracks in the floor, I think we maybe have worked out why both those things are happening, and I think a lot of you commented around this back in that vlog, and you were right. But let's go back. First of all, we remember the floor was all cracked. I put a picture in here in the house, and the same is in the garage. If you look in the concrete floor, Maxine's car's parked in the way here, but you can see we have these cracks running all the way through the garage as well. Not as many, there's only like one big one, but you can see here kind of another one that goes, you can see it goes all the way across to the wall, and then another one that runs all the way down under Maxine's car and then comes up this step and kind of runs down here as well. And what we had in, one of the phases, we'll tell you if it's in phase 2, was to get this concrete floor repaired and sealed, and we had a concrete guy in to do that, and he came and looked at this, and he looked at the floor, and he looked at this step, and he said, have you had a water leak here? We said, nope. He said, you've had lots of water in this garage. I went, nope. He says, yeah. He says, if you look at this step here, where the edgings all kind of come off, he said that's where water's been running down. And he said this floor here, and this, especially this floor here that you can see, is highly polished. It's very slippy. And he said, yeah, he said, what's happened here is and I think it's happened to both houses, is when the foundations were laid on this house, there was a lot of rain or a thunderstorm, and what it's done is weakened the concrete. So that's why it's cracked. And he said, and the way this step is shows that water was cascading down. And he said the floor is so polished because they were polishing the hell out of it and flat out of it, trying to level it out and get it sorted for when the house was sold. And you can see here, you can see the cracks. Probably the light here, running around that way a little bit more. Now it's not, the house isn't going to fall down, but next door's was the same. But you know, we had the house inspected when we bought it and nobody ever said anything. Obviously we couldn't see in the main house, but we could see in here the cracks. Nobody ever called that out. But there's a fact, if you're ever going to buy a house and you see cracks in the floor and a very shiny, slippy surface like this is, it probably means it got wet at some time during the pour and is not as strong as it should be. So obviously we've had the cracks repaired in the house. Part of, and you'll see later on in the vlog, is it in phase 2, we're going to replace the cracks in here, repair the cracks in here and seal this floor and redo all this edging where it's all kind of crumbled away. It's either that or we had a water heater that leaked and put that much water. No, he's pretty convinced he's seen it before. He's from a concrete company, so he knows these things. So there you go. That explains why we had the cracks in the room, but it doesn't explain why the water got in. It just explains, or it explains how the water got in, and it doesn't explain where the water came from. So come with me. So one of the other phases that we could potentially going in phase 2 is out back, and we'll explain more when we get you back inside. But I've had people in looking at the land out here out back for some of the things we want to do. And remember, water was getting into the house, and a lot of you were saying about the grade out here. And you know, we had the builders check the grade to the grade was lower than than the side of the house. We knew that. But actually now we've had them out here looking at the whole land. What we found is there's a hump in the lawn here, which actually slopes down towards the house. It actually comes out to a hump and then slides down this way. So we're looking at doing work out here, and one of the things we've now got to look at is regrading this backyard. And a lot of you did call out it could be the grade, and you were right. It looks like it, but we were looking within like 2 or 3 feet of the house. It's not, it's way out here. But of course when it rains or everything, it directs all the water towards the house, and then when you've got cracks in the floor, it comes through. So what I also a few of you suggested as well, and I talked to the contractor, I want this now, was to put a drain in across here. He didn't originally plan to look at doing that, but I asked him to go back and put one in. They told me, I think a French drain might be, which is like one with a fabric round, but basically it wicks all the water away, so if anything does go that way, it would move it to the side of the house. So we're looking at, and we'll talk more about when that phase might come, having to regrade this backyard, probably all the way across here, and also draining it. So, you know, it's if we do that, then I think we will be good as far as, you know, we've sealed the floor. I can't find any other reason why it would have leaked. There's no water pipes or anything. It's got to be this. And even then, when I spoke to the contractor, he was the one who did the work inside the house, and we saw this grade. He said, yeah, that probably was the cause of the water coming in. But yeah, so there you go. So you were all right. Thank you for your advice. I did listen to it, and I did use that advice to speak with the contractor and make sure that we're going to do it right. Now we've got the floor sorted, make sure that we don't have any more problems with the water getting into the house. One more thing to do before we take a break, finish outside, is, hey, I talked about complaining about contractors taking stuff. I found loads of tools. I think this is a pipe crimping device, so that was when they put the hot water heater in. So I have a lot more tools that they've left behind, but why they would take a rake, I don't know. So the other thing we're going to do here is need to wash the car, but the hose pipe is like many years old, and this thing is all old and corroded. So I went on Amazon and bought a replacement valve. I just need to stick one of these on, and then I can wash the car before it gets too hot, and then give that a quick blast before we go back and check the graffiti, see if that's come off. Well, that was short-lived. I bought this kit off Amazon. It's supposed to have all the bits in for doing hose pipes, but it doesn't have one of these connectors to go onto the hose pipe. So that's absolutely wonderful. So I guess I'll be sending them back to Amazon. This is all they give you. That does not go onto a hose pipe. This does not come off because it's a fixed device. So yeah, back to square one again for doing that. Jeez. Right, so maybe more than an hour has passed since I spread that on. I managed to jury-rig the car and get it cleaned, which just means the water was spraying all out everywhere. with the old hose connector. So I've ordered a new one off Amazon, hopefully that tomorrow. What we've finished off down here as well is Max has put the lights around while I was inside. So it's quite nice now. He's put all the new solar lights out. So that is looking pretty good. I actually got one in with the flower as well. So now I have to go back here and work out which of these things are sprayed, because it's probably all... Oh no, there you go, look. There's still wet patches on it. So I need to go and get my PPE on and then get my wire brush and give it a go. Ooh, would you look at that? That's pretty much gone. Ooh, are we on a winner here? Look at this one. This one. That's pretty good. And the third one. Now, the trick is, was it the brush or was it the spray? So let's get one of these other ones over here that didn't have the spray on it. Nope, definitely is the spray, because that one is not coming off. It looks like get the spray out, soak all these along here, let them soak for an hour, and then come out and Bob could be your uncle, who knows? Right, so I'm using the 80-20 rule. I was trying to get 80% of them in the first pass and leave the rest, but this should give you some indication as to just how bad it is. Down here, you can see how many of these sprays I've done all the way around. I haven't done on the bench yet, but you can start to see just how splattered this floor was with different white paint, brown paint, blue paint. So yeah, we're going to leave all that for an hour or so, gonna have something to eat, get back with the scrubbing brush, scrub it, then it needs to be hosed down just to wash all the chemicals off, and then we'll see how we go. I might have to do a second round just for that last 20%, but definitely getting better. Well, it's a couple of hours later. I call it a partial success. You can see there's still a lot of white spots and brown spots around. What that stuff did was soften the paint, and then when I put the wire brush on, it just smeared it. So I had to get the power washer, that's why I'm soaked through, because I got the power washer to blast it. And it did get some off, but as you can see, it's going to be multiple goes to do it multiple times. And it's actually drying off, so it's a bit patchy at the moment. You can still see there's plenty of, let's just paint, I think that's a bit that came off. Yeah, there is still plenty of paint on here. So I think that graffiti stuff does work, but it's going to be many iterations to kind of spray it. And by the way, I tried to take it off after about an hour, and the paint didn't move, so I left it for 2 hours. And then it got soft, so maybe I should leave it for 3 or 4 hours. I don't know, it got soft, but like I say, scrubbed it and then it just kind of smeared. Then power washed, did take the smearing off, but there was still paint underneath, so it's going to take 2 or 3 applications. But I think that's probably going to be the best option we've got to go, is to just keep going at it steady away, you know, over many weeks to get it, because obviously when I power wash around here, it throws all the dirt up and I have to do the walls and everything, and then you always spot something else. I've been out here like an hour now. So there you go. So now we've given you an update on the acid cleaner, and we have given you an update on the garden. So let's go back inside and discuss a little bit more about phase 2. So we're all showered now, cleaned up after being outside in that heat. It was a little bit warm, but yeah, we made some progress, didn't we? It looks nice out there now. Yeah. I haven't told you though, I had to move all your stuff when I jet washed that. When I jet washed all that pavement, so you'll notice things aren't quite back in the same place they were as before.
So the last 3 hours I've just spent is just...
Well, yeah, you just have to move them around a little bit.
They'll tweak them a bit.
Tweak them a bit, they'll be fine.
Because they're not going to be tweaked, are they?
No,
okay.
They're not tweaked. So, phase 2. So what's phase 2 going to be? Well, there's going to be some parts upstairs and some parts downstairs. And we will... as I talked earlier on, there's some things that we were looking at for phase 2 that did not make it into phase 2, but they will be, and we mentioned that earlier on, like the garage, but that'll be coming in a future phase. But let's go upstairs and have a look at what we're going to start with for phase 2.
Yep.
So we are in the guest bathroom, as you can tell by the echo.
Yeah.
And so, Mrs. Theme Park Bazza, tell me what's going to happen in phase 2 in here.
In phase 2, we're gonna, well, we were gonna just leave the tiles down, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And then just put the other floor on top.
Mm-hmm. From downstairs.
From downstairs, that we saved. But I think, thinking about it, I think we might regret it again if we don't do it at this stage. So we're gonna rip all the tiles up and demo everything. So basically, everything is coming out of this bathroom.
You know, keep the lights, no?
No.
Oh.
Everything is coming out of this
Yeah,
bathroom.
which would include that.
Yeah, the vanity's coming out, the toilet's coming out, the bath's coming out, shower's coming out, all the tiles are being demoed, all the things are coming
How
off
can we
the
not keep
walls.
this really nice towel rail and this really
No.
nice toilet roll, porcelain toilet roll holder?
No,
Okay.
no. So everything's coming out, and then it's going to be repainted again in a different colour.
What colour are you going to have it?
I'm going to have it grey. I haven't quite decided what.
And what tile are you having?
We're going to go with the tile that we've got downstairs
Okay.
in the living room.
Yeah, we have some of that left over in the garage as well, don't we? Not enough to do that.
Not enough, we need to get some more.
Yeah.
But we're going to just match it all
Yeah.
in here, and so it should look nice.
And what we're going to do with that?
That's getting out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go and put a double vanity in here. I think it's going to be the same size, but it's going to be a double one, and it's going to be a freestanding one. It's not going to go up against the wall.
Okay.
And the mirror's coming out. I'm going to put 2 mirrors up there, 2 lights above them.
Well, what are you going to do with the, what colour are you going to go for with the vanity?
I'm not sure yet. Either dark grey like we've got in the kitchen, or a white one. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. And toilet will probably be the same as the one downstairs.
Yeah, they're just going to be white, plain white, regular toilets.
And what are you going to do with this over here?
Just a regular plain, rip it all out as usual, and gonna just put a regular white bath in. I think I'm gonna tile it again, but I'm just gonna put like white subway tiles in.
Right.
Maybe with a bit of an accent somewhere. I'm not sure yet where or what colour. It all depends on the vanity what I decide to pick.
Okay.
It might be light walls, it might be dark walls. I'm not sure yet, because we have got a window in here, so it can. As long as we don't go much darker than this colour,
Yeah.
I think it'll be alright. But we don't want really light floors, and really light walls, and then a white cabinet.
Yeah.
I don't like that. So, yeah.
And what else up here? Oh, over here.
And what else are we doing over here? While we're doing that, we're going to revamp the laundry room. Again, we've got the old tiles back in here again that we've had downstairs and in the bathrooms. So we are going to rip all them up again and put the same tile in as the bathrooms and downstairs, so it matches. Obviously we'll have to move all these.
Yeah. There are the items to move.
Yeah, and we're going to rip this cupboard out because
Okay.
there's no sink in it, it's just a cupboard and it doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever. So
You've got storage under the washers, haven't you now? You don't really need
yeah, I
cupboards
don't
for
really
storing
need
stuff.
that. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't really want a sink put in because I don't think I'll ever use it. So I might get some hanging system to like hang clothes on when I put them on a hanger, because I don't put everything in the dryer.
Yeah.
So I might put like a hanging system in there to dry things, air dry them.
Right.
And then that's coming out.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's going back up there yet. There will be another shelf. It might be something like that, or it might be a proper shelf. I'm not sure.
Okay. I think that concludes it for upstairs, because obviously, you know, we're looking at the master bathroom, which will be in a future phase, because we don't want to end up with doing 2 bathrooms at once.
Well, we can't do 2 bathrooms.
We
I'm not moving out again.
We can't stay out the house again. We can't afford to stay out the house again. And I think, I don't think we've got a duration, even when they can start on this. The other thing, we can't buy any stuff until we get a date from them, because as we found doing the downstairs, when you go and we've seen some good prices on vanities in...
Yeah, because it's Memorial Day weekend this weekend. Yeah. And they've got some really good deals on them, like 50% off them. But I don't buy it just in case.
You only have 30 days to take it back.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to start for 2 months. If you go back to the vlog, remember when you got that bath that you really liked, but you didn't buy it because you didn't know when they were going to start. So something to factor in if you're doing that over here in the US is you need to factor in, if you're going to send stuff back, not to buy it until very close to when it's needed.
Yeah.
You know, you can.
Amazon's usually pretty good. It only usually takes 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, but it's like special deals on things, isn't it? When you like the vanities and things like that. So I think that's the upstairs. Then we have a couple more phases we'll talk about later on once these 2 are done. Let's go downstairs and talk about the rest of phase 2. So one of my pet peeves is this lanai area, because with 2 of us, it's fine.
Yeah.
But as soon as you have more than 2 or 3 or 4, You haven't got room.
It's a bit tight.
Yeah, I mean, when Lick and Lee were here, we're getting like fold-out chairs, and they were like sat knee to knee with us. And if you get this, you got to pull this barbecue out to use it. And so you know, it's a little wider there, but here you've got no room, have you?
No, and I don't like putting anything here because then it blocks the view out.
Yeah. So we want to extend this basically, and that's why I was out on the grass earlier on and showing you about the grading. So what we are thinking of at this stage, but nothing has been set in stone yet, is sort of getting if you imagine a concrete slab that runs out, how far did we say?
14 feet.
14 feet out, just the length of this lanai.
Which
so
is
it's
20 feet.
20 feet. It's not going to go the length of the whole house. Just the length of this lanai, but 14 feet out on there, with the same cool floor, as they call it, and that's the term for it apparently, that we have here. And then it's going to have a metal roof, solid roof, coming down, posts in the corners, and then this mesh here, all this mesh will disappear, and actually will fall around the framing, so it all will be framed in. And then this will all be open, and we can walk out into it. We can have a bigger sofa.
Bigger sofa and hopefully
And a grill.
A grill and a dining table.
Yeah, and they're going to put beams in as well, so we can have like a fan on the top and lights in it.
I can put lights in it.
You can put lights in it. So that's what we're thinking at this stage. We're still working on pricing and things like that, and also permits are a pain. Apparently in Orange County, you've got to know that if you're going to do it. Well, number one, we've got to apply to the HOA for them to approve it. So I have to kind of do a sketch and show them what we're doing. Oh, and the other thing we missed on that is we're going to put a fence in, aren't we?
Yeah, once that's
Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, once that's all done, we're going to have a fence, and it's going to be the same as that. You see that fence over there? That kind of metal one? A 5-foot black one? It's going to start here, at the edge of that here, with a gate and run down to the property line. Our property line is where that grass changes colour, where it's taller, or basically where the end of that white fence is there. So we want to do that, but we were originally just going to put a fence in, but we thought if we put a fence in and then we get this extension done, you're going to have to rip all the fence up to do it. So it's order of solve. So we thought if we're going to do it, we might as well do it all at once and get it done. But going back to permits, yeah, we have to do a drawing for the fence, because I think the limits are 6 foot is the highest fence you can have for the HOA to approve. We're going to do a drawing for this lanai thing, but I think we'll be okay because next door have extended out. They have a pool and everything, and they've extended out. They've obviously got a metal fence like the one we're going to use, so we should be okay with that. But then we have to go to Orange County, where we are, to get permits. And I'm told currently they still haven't got the staff back, and they're still talking about 2 months to get permits. And just estimating how much time it would take to do this from beginning to end, from when they can start, the contractor said it's going to be about 2 months. So once we've agreed what we're going to do, because there's a few changes we might make, and then we have made the payment, initial 10% deposit, and they go and get the permits, then it's 2 months. And then once they can start, it's another 2 months to actually do the work. So we're going to be towards the end of the year before this is complete out here. We have another company come to give us a quote as well, which I reached out to on the weekend, and we'll see what they come up with their pricing before we decide which way we're going to go. But I just think, and the reason we want a metal roof as well is it'll keep the sun off, but also keep the rain off.
It's going to be an insulated roof.
And it's insulated as well, so it should keep the heat down. But also being all open here, it shouldn't cut off too much light. We didn't want to cut off the light from the living room, that's why we're not going to extend it all the way down. But I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
When we do that. So that is phase 2 renovation. Guest bathroom, laundry, this lanai area, and then we've got some other stuff to do for phase 3. I mentioned like the master bathroom, and then we've also got a phase 4 and some other stuff we'll talk about later on. So we're into this for another year of smaller projects before we have everything basically done on the house. That will.
It's going to be a new house.
Basically, buying new, and like I say earlier on, it's really good going through these conversations. You start to discover some things as to why we got cracks in the floor, why the water was coming in. So as we're going through these renovations, anything we can do to mitigate that in the future, we're going to do that as well at the same time. So that's where we are. I hope that was interesting. We're now going to go inside and grab some tea and wrap up this vlog. So it's tea time, isn't it, Max?
Tea time.
We got chips.
Yeah.
We got bees.
So what goes with that?
What goes with that? Frey bento steak and kidney pie. Yeah. We're having a bit of pie, aren't we?
A bit of pie tonight.
Bit of pie. It's a pie day. Looking good, Max. Looking good. Just need a bit of vinegar on. You've got ketchup out as well.
I have.
I don't mind green with this. Oh, we've got waffle fries as well.
Just a few.
Yeah.
It's probably enough green for you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's enough green for me, yeah. Right. And we got our vinegar and tomato sauce. We're going to chomp down on this food, aren't we, Max?
Yeah.
So we thank everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's home vlog, catching up on the next phase, phase 2. We will be back with you soon with another update. Next vlog you see, we'll be hopping on a plane, hopping away for the weekend. So catch us on the next vlog, and we will see thee later.
Bye.
Bye.